Jodie Turner-Smith is back at it. If you are not familiar with who Jodie Turner-Smith is, she is the actress who played the race-swapped Anne Boleyn in that British production. She is one of the people featured in the upcoming The Acolyte. She has made some of the most cringe-worthy comments about the show, and we've got the latest. We've got the latest from here about The Acolyte. As Spencer writes here, joining her fellow castmates and throwing up unsurprising red flag after red flag. That's exactly what it is. She has lavished praise upon the fact that she is, quote, part of a wave of more inclusive and beautifully represented Star Wars shows. You know it's really bad when they're already promoting the show based on identity politics other than the actual story. I mean, how bad is it going to be is really the question. What level of terribleness should we expect? Because we already know it's going to be bad. So, speaking with the show, with Entertainment Weekly's Star Wars-centric Dagobah Dispatch, presumably with her fellow co-stars, I don't think it's presumably, I think it's pretty clear that they did it at Star Wars Celebration back in April, but they're now just publishing it. She said, definitely, the show was definitely something I noticed and was really excited about, and was one of the reasons that I chose to step into the world, specifically referring to the company's diversity and inclusion efforts. She went on to say, I also really love that our show was much more woman-centered than what I have previously seen in the Star Wars world. Just from the fact that our incredible showrunner, Leslie, is a genius woman, and the female producers, and having Amanda be the person who's leading our cast, it was a very cool way into this universe, in a way that I feel that people have never necessarily seen before, other than they're going to see Rosario in an amazing woman-centered show as well. So, you know, it's a show that you've never seen before, except that show that's coming out before us is literally going to do the same thing, right? Okay, I mean, just, wow. Wow. There she is. That is Jodie Turner-Smith. That's her right there at Star Wars Celebration. So, see what she looks like there. She went on to talk about the Ahsoka show. I feel like we are part of a wave of more inclusive and beautifully represented Star Wars shows. So she's referring to the Ahsoka show, her show, etc., saying that this is a wave of more inclusive and beautifully represented Star Wars shows. Like, Star Wars has never been inclusive, even in the terms of the leftists. It clearly has, if you want to nitpick that. But I wouldn't say that it was the way that it's being done now, which is clearly being forced through DEI initiatives at the Walt Disney Company. She continued and said, so that felt really cool. And I felt the importance of that, especially in some of the stuff that I got to where everyone really was excited about what they were seeing and what that would maybe mean for different fans that don't necessarily look like what you normally think the traditional Star Wars fan looks like. I wonder what she thinks the traditional Star Wars fan looks like. It looks like she might be making assumptions about what they look like, and maybe that gives it an insight into what her thinking is about Star Wars fans. It'd be really interesting to see what she thinks traditional Star Wars fans looks like and what they think. At least one to think that all of this is projection when you're admitting it. Nevertheless, she goes on and says, because if there's anything that I learned from the show, it's that the Star Wars fan is varied. So, like, what? What? So, apparently, there is not what you normally think the traditional Star Wars fan looks like, but the Star Wars fan is varied. Can you make up your mind, please? So, is it not some kind of inclusive show, or is it something that we've already seen before? Are the fans, like, are supposedly being changed, or have they always been that way? These people are insufferable. So, this isn't the first time she has touted the Acolyte's inclusive direction. Actually, during another appearance at Star Wars Celebration, she said, my character, you know, she's a powerful leader. She's a powerful leader in a very woman-centered world, which I was very excited to kind of be in that because I feel like Star Wars is very patriarchal. Jeez. So it was kind of cool to have this sort of woman-centered figure. And you know she's really sort of going through a struggle because, I mean, that's Star Wars, right? She's really kind of like in this sort of quandary, and that's sort of her journey is to kind of go through the struggle between two ideas. So that is what Jodie Turner-Smith had to say about the upcoming Acolyte show, clearly promoting it based on identity politics. And as I stated before, it's not whether or not this show is going to be bad, it's how bad is it going to be.